Great day, because we make it a great day. What's in our heart? We have warmth in our heart, and we make it right. That's the way it should be. We will now stand and start the program with the honor our nation with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, please remain standing. Ms. Ernestine Jenkins will give us the invocation.
Our Father, we're just so thankful this afternoon and this evening for bringing us together. And Lord, we just ask that we would always honor and glorify your name, but that the business that we do here tonight will be in your honor and in your glory. And we just ask that you be with us throughout this meeting and throughout this week. Guide us and direct us always. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
Oh, this is Sean. I thought it was going to be Lisa.
It's an honor to have you, everybody here. It's true, the room not packed, but we don't need a packed house to have a good time. It's all good. It's informational, and one person can carry the information to lots of people, so I don't worry about packed houses. I just worry about getting good information out. And we do have a person that has some good information. We got a new development in the community, and we need to know what's in the community so we know how to help our people. So without further ado, I'll give Ms. Jenkins to introduce Nicole, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Nicole Zook is a wonderful person. I got to know her when I was at the ribbon cutting for the tribute at the Glen. Most of you know where that is. The home that's just come up recently is at the intersection of the Parkway and Woodbridge. So I got to know her, and she said, I want to get involved in the community. Nicole said, right now my job is community relations for this organization, this wonderful, and I believe they have one in Loudon, one in Gainesville, yep, and one here in the Woodbridge, Lake Ridge, Dale City area. So I said, okay, you've come to the right person if you want to get involved. So within a week, I'd given her more than she wanted. She said, I really can't go to all that, but I will try. But then I said, how about coming to the Dale City Civic Association? We do wonderful things, but we want to hear about what you do and your addition to our community. And she said, sure. And so after I met her, though, I'm really upset at her boss because he took her to Loudon to help open that community. And so she's not here right now, but she's coming back. We're going to make sure that he understands this. This is your community. Yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Nicole Zook, who is a community relations and many other things, which she'll tell you what she does of the tribute at the Glen, at Loudon. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I just want to first and foremost thank all of you guys for allowing me to come in this evening and speak with you guys on behalf of the tribute of the Glen right in your community. To kind of give you a backstory as to who I am, I actually grew up in Clifton, so I'm a local. So born and raised more closer towards the Yates Ford, Davis Ford side. So I used to come here all the time. Prince William County actually was my home when it came to the Prince William County Fair, and my parents and I would go up to the farms out here. So I've been a local my whole life. I was very blessed. My degree in school is health administration and policy with a concentration in assisted living and a sub-concentration in gerontology. I specialize in dementia of all sorts. Not only on a professional level, but also on a personal level. So that being said, that's kind of where I landed today. When I graduated, I still volunteer. I worked at Chesterbrook Residencies as an intern, which is in Falls Church, my only place that would give me my internship when I was in college. And then, of course, I made my way when I graduated to the Arden Courts of Potomac, Maryland, which there I was an activities director for 3 years. Only working with dementia, so that is kind of what I hold true to my heart. and then we moved me to Arden Courts of Annandale. From there, George, my boss, that you oh so love right now, he actually moved me to the Tribute at Heritage Village and recruited me. And from there, I've actually opened every single property we have of Tribute, of all three you explained. Gainesville was first, then the Tribute at the Glen, which is my dear home, and then of course One Mountain. So that's what brings me here today. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the Tribute properties and kind of what makes us a little bit different than what you're typically used to seeing, and kind of what makes, our bring to the community very important to what, the Civic Association brings to the community as well. That being said, Tribute at the Glen is a assisted living and memory care community. It's right at the cross intersection, what Ernestine was saying, at Woodbridge Road, right behind that Chick-fil-A that you drive by every day, and right in front of the Chin Center. Something that's kind of amazing, and I was telling, James and I was telling Ernestine today, is Chick-fil-A actually was a part of our company and a part of our family, which is kind of interesting. Jeremy Ragsdale, who's the principal of our company, his father was number 4 to ever be hired at Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, Georgia. So he's on all the pictures that you guys will see inside of Chick-fil-A, which in turn in 2008 brought Thrive Senior Living to develop communities like this. They wanted to disrupt the assisted living that you're typically used to hearing about, that stigma of more of that nursing home type of feel. So allowing it to be more affordable, A, for the residents that live there, B, it's actually all inclusive, so regardless of the level of care that somebody actually needs, the price does not change. And C, we want to make sure that our residents feel like they live more in an apartment and having that resort style feeling, like living on a cruise ship on land, opposed to feeling again like that white-walled, semi-private room that you're used to hearing about. That being said, when I say it's resort style, it is resort style, and our motto is assisted living like you've never seen before. What does that entail? When you say resort style, it's like, what does that mean? We had 3 companies that actually designed our communities. The first one was the Ritz-Carlton. So when you walk into the community, it has beautiful chandeliers. It has very high vaulted ceilings. All the apartments have 10-foot ceilings. They all have kitchenettes, hardwood flooring, carpeting, all walk-in closets, and everything is handicap accessible. So flush with the floor, walk-in showers, tons of grab bars that are reinforced, so in case someone puts all their weight on them, it doesn't, it will not fall out of that wall. Higher toilets and even roll-under sinks. And we even have handicap accessible for people maybe that are a little bit larger or maybe a little bit taller, so it allows more room for them, as well as if it is a handicap apartment, it does have a roll-under sink in the kitchenette as well. So if someone is fully wheelchair bound, it's very easy to navigate, not only on their own, but also with assistance with somebody else. Our staffing ratios are very unique in that typically you'll find in an average assisted living, you're looking at maybe about a 1 to 12, 1 to 13 resident to staff ratio. Here at the Tribute, we actually have a sliding ratio. It depends solely on the acuity of the residents that are there. So we have everything ranging from 1 to 9 all the way down, or 1 to 10 all the way down to 1 to 6 in assisted living, depending solely on the residents that live there. So it's more important to us here that we're providing more of that one-on-one quality of care opposed to that herding cattle kind of thing that you'll typically hear about. In our memory care, which is near and dear to my heart, it is a 1 to 6 staffing ratio. So one of the nice things about that is when you have residents that are dealing with multiple different types of dementia, they do have that more individualized, specialized care. That being said, with memory care, something that I will tell you is all of our staff are dementia trained. What exactly does that mean? Because a lot of people say they're dementia certified or dementia trained, and where is that certification coming from? Maureen Charlton, actually, who is at the Tribute at Heritage Village, whom we hired from the Alzheimer's Association National Chapter, which is based out of Tyson's, actually came to our company and helped design our entire program. In turn, it's more of a structured day. It's based on the type of dementia, whether it be somebody who is dealing with Alzheimer's, somebody who's dealing with Lewy bodies, frontal temporal, vascular, and Parkinson's. Those are the top 5 typically that you'll see, which are the most prominent in the dementia realm today. There is over 100 types of dementias, so of course, we are able to work with multiple other types as well as mixed dementias. However, that is something, again, that we'd have to do an assessment on a resident for. The memory care, which I'll get started there since it's kind of near and dear to my heart, it actually has its entire own community. It is locked and secured, which is very, very important to make sure we don't have any wander or flight risk. However, something that makes us very different is all of our apartments lock. So we have something called radio frequency identification, which is RFID, which is the nickname. Basically what this is, it's a waterproof wristband that the residents wear when they go into their apartment. This is so nice because it's waterproof. They can wear it when they wash their hands, when they take a shower. They never have to take it off, so they almost forget about it. When it comes to opening their own door, a lot of memory cares don't have locks on their doors. So you'll see a lot of shopping and sharing, depending on the type of residence that you have. Tipa Snow, actually, who is one of the major prevalent people within the Alzheimer's world and the dementia world today, is out. She designed something called the GEMS program. She's based out of Georgia as well. However, we actually use her philosophy. So we actually decide what particular gem, which every resident in dementia, we kind of put them into a category, and we actually learn about who they are more on a more one-on-one basis. This helps, like I said, for those shoppers, so you don't see people wandering in and out of the other people's apartments and actually sleeping in their beds, taking their, personal belongings, pictures, teddy bears. You'd be surprised what gets out of the room. I can say that in personal experience. What else is important? Dining and memory care. So everything is made for people with dementia. So everything has a cueing and coaching mechanism, and everything is there for a purpose. We actually use what's called Fiestaware. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Fiestaware. It's a type of plate, flatware type of thing that you'll find, and you can order it in any area, Macy's, Kohl's, and actually they're bright colors, so they're just vibrant. We use red, blue, green, and yellow, so that way all of our stuff, when it comes to the food itself, does not blend in with the actual plate. So for instance, if someone has a white plate and you have mashed potatoes and chicken, it's very difficult for a resident with dementia to see it on their plate. Because unfortunately with dementia, your occipital lobe in your brain will actually change your vision, whether it be your depth perception. Also, you actually become more narrow framed with where you're able to look into, so it's a lot harder for them to find. We also then have a structured day when it comes to activities. We do everything inside the community or outside the community. We have 2 buses at our building, one for assisted living and one for memory care. We can of course use 2 buses for the same neighborhood, but we just we at least have one of each, so we're able to take 2 different outings. That being said, when it comes to socialization and stimulation, our families, we asked, especially in dementia, to write down everything that you could possibly think of about your loved one. We want to know everything, who their family is, what they like to do, what they did as a profession. We do this because we want to be able to devise a care plan that's 16 pages long, not only for their number 1 care, but also number 2, what stuff they like to do. We don't want to give somebody woodworking if you're someone like you or I that are going to sit there and say, we don't woodwork, I don't even know how to use a hammer, So we try to decide what they like to do. If someone's a homemaker, a lot of times with Alzheimer's they'll revert backwards. So folding laundry, helping to do dishes, maybe sorting, helping to make their bed, maybe do chores around the community to keep them busy. We want everyone to have a sense of purpose, a sense of dignity, and a sense of independence, to bring them back to maybe where they were. Finding that light to kind of reflect, to give that beam of hope that comes out a lot of times when you find certain things that kind of trigger memories. When it comes to assisted living is one of my favorites. I will say at the Tribute at the Glen, we are 98% occupancy of veterans and government workers. So something that's very good about that is a lot of the residents can actually talk about things they might not be able to talk about with a civilian, especially in the military side of things. We have a lot of, Department of Defense workers, Pentagon, 2-star generals, colonels, enlisted for a couple of years, you name it. The sky's the limit when it comes to that. And I actually, before I left the Glen, I actually went to every single resident, even in memory care, and asked them what their backstory was with their veteran, or working with the government. In assisted living, we have more of that resort style of living. We have smaller apartments. They range between 332 square feet all the way up to 721 square feet. And we do that because we want to figure out what that person particularly needs. Not everyone needs a 721 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. Maybe they're not very mobile anymore. And we want to encourage socialization, getting out of the apartment. So the neat thing about our building and how it was designed is we have 40% apartments and 60% common space. So that way we have more areas for them to maybe go watch a movie or maybe play a game with a friend that they find in a different area. We also have the Lincoln Theater, which is a multi-purpose room, which we use for absolutely everything. We have a 100 square foot, 100-inch TV, smart TV that's connected to Xbox Connect, so it actually watches you. So the residents, it's a lot less likely they'll have a fall by doing something like, bowling simulations and things like that. We even do a lot of bingo in there. We do a lot of seminars. So a lot of times we'll actually bring in a civic association like yourselves and actually have the residents feel like they're a part of something again. And a lot of them still want to volunteer. Yes. That's more important to us. Our demographic in assisted living is a lot more higher functioning from, very late stage independent, where they're kind of still driving to where they are early stage assisted living. So they still want to volunteer in the community. The neat thing about the Glen too is one of our residents there is actually an Alzheimer's Association advocate, and she is their keynote speaker on, whenever they have their Alzheimer's walks. She's an early onset. So that is something that we try to bring back to them to get them involved back in the community. Just because you move to assisted living does not mean, the whole quality of life that you're used to is by the wayside. We want to get you back active. We also have a very strong resident council, so if our residents don't like something particular in our building, we want to know. Granted, you'd be surprised what you hear. A lot of times it's food, it's activities, and it's getting out of the building. So we want to know what they like to do, where they like to go. We have residents shoot at the Tribute at Heritage Village in Gainesville. We have a group of 22 women that go once a month to Charlestown races and slots. And they pay penny slots every month. Oh yeah. One lady came back and she won $8,000. So her and her son went the whole weekend and did their thing. So, we just want to bring back what they enjoy. Socialization is huge. Megan Cunningham is our director of excitement over there. We don't call them activities directors because they're not. We want to bring back what they want. So she does everything from actually what she just devised, which is kind of amazing, is she has these bills. They're fake money. But at every quarter, we actually have an auction. So they can use their money towards things that they want in the community. So she's actually been bringing in donations, such as Coach bags. She has a microwave, a Keurig, a 150-inch screen TV, a Chanel bag, and these are all donations that people bring in so the residents can actually get this stuff. And it makes them feel good. So if they win bingo, and it also entices them to come down, and get them involved. Something else that's unique is dining. So dining at our building is very different than a typical assisted living you're used to seeing. Dining actually, in a normal assisted living in Northern Virginia, the average cost for 3 meals per day for one resident is only $4.50. Here, it's $7.50, so it's $3 higher. We're able to provide better quality and also allow if we have a major event or something special going on, to utilize that money for something even greater. So for instance, for Christmas, we had at the Heritage Village, because we weren't open at the Glen yet, we had lobster tails and prime rib. And for, Valentine's Day when the Glen first opened, we even had lamb. So we're able to provide that whole different type of ambiance. 3 courses for each meal for lunch and dinner. The heaviest meal is lunch, of course, because we don't want our residents to sit on the calories. We want to keep them active and engaged. So, that way they're walking around the entire day, they're getting involved in our 2 exercise classes a day, something to get them moving. What's neat about the 3 meals a day is the first course is going to be your soup and salad. The second course is going to be your heavy meal, which is going to be your entree, which has your starch, your vegetable, and your chicken, your fish, whatever it may be. And then your dessert, we actually have 5 different desserts that go out to our community as well for the residents. And they're made in-house unless it's Boston cream pie or a, what are those cream puffs? Chocolate eclairs, that's what I'm thinking of. So those are the only 2 things we can't do on site. We actually utilize those from a local bakery right outside in Lake Ridge. Breakfast is made to order, so whatever the residents want. So it's literally, you go down there, you look off your menu, and you can have, French toast every day. You can have pancakes every day. If you want to have poached eggs and bacon and sausage every day, you can. So it's all about what you want as an individual. So bringing back your choice. Same with lunch and dinner. Lunch and dinner are actually going to, again, be something as to what you want. So 10 different choices if you don't like what's on that featured meal for that day. Gosh, what else? We are very technologically based. In memory care, we have something called Palladium Care, which is a virtual caregiver in the apartment. It actually monitors for fall risk. So we've only had one fall, and that was in front of somebody that we physically couldn't catch her because her legs gave out on her because she had a blood pressure attack. But besides that, we've not had one incident where we've actually had a fall. So we don't have constant fire trucks in and out of our community for that one reason. We want to promote wellness. If we notice somebody is maybe a little bit unsteady in their gait, getting them involved in physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy to make sure that they're getting what they need and getting stronger, keeping them from going back to the hospital and having those bundled payment dings, for Centera Hospital, or going to Nova Fairfax if Centera can't take care of it, or Prince William. Gosh, the little push buttons, they're called lifelines that the residents get, they're also GPS tracked. So if a resident, let's say, is not in their apartment and they're around the community, guess what? We can actually find them. We're not going to have to worry about them pressing their button. We're in their room going, well, where are they? Which a lot of communities have. We also, again, have the RFIDs. And last but not least, we have something called AccuShield. And AccuShield is a security system in the community. We want to make sure whoever's coming to visit our residents, they're safe. Whether it be family members, and we know who's in and out of the building, so in case there is a fire, we can get everybody out. But also it's good for the professionals. And why do I say that? Licenses, people who are dealing with maybe not having a certification that they say they have, making sure they don't have a background, So let's say they don't, what happens if they had a sexual assault case on a resident in Florida? We want to know that stuff. So this AccuShield actually does not only a federal background check, but it also requires you to do a drug screening before you can even get into our community. And it's important for us. If they don't do it within 30 days, they're not allowed in our building and they're kicked out of the system completely. So we want to make sure that we are available to whatever they need. Basically, like I said, the tribute is above and beyond kind of what you've ever seen. I would love for you guys to see it. Like I said, we have 3 different communities, and there's a ton of things I could probably talk on, but it would take me 5 hours, and I think you guys would probably be sleeping by the time I'm done. But again, I am a dementia expert. If you guys have any questions, I do a lot in the community and love to do a lot of outreach. Please let me know. We also speak on a lot of different topics like depression, depression, delirium, as well as heart health, how to prevent dementia, memory jogging, stimulation that you can do, to keep yourself from going down that path. Also hydration management, how to help someone with fall prevention, cardiac care, you name it. So we're just here to be a part of you guys. Whatever we can do to help, please let us know. And I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to speak today.
Now, Nicole, you have spoken a lot about dementia and this. You do have residents who are just there with a senior.
Oh, of course. In assisted living.
Certain floors and.
So the second floor is just devoted to memory care. The first floor and the third floor are for assisted living only. So people who are still totally independent.
Because I know people have asked me. And also, if you're interested, any of you, if you want to go as a group, I know Nicole would love to have you see the facility. But if you can't go as a group and want to drop by, I'm sure somebody would assist you.
Anyone would assist you.
Yeah,
if you want a particular tour with me, I can give you kind of the nitty-gritty version of it, and I can kind of show you a little bit of everything. I'd love to. I left my cards on the table for all of you, so you're able to, see my number, and you can reach me directly.
It is absolutely a beautiful building, and inside it's just really so peaceful and really beautiful.
It is.
So, and they're able to assist us from time to time with community nonprofit organizations to come in and use their facilities.
Yes, and anything we're able to do, whether it be a sponsorship, assisting with you all, maybe donating food or, donating a place that we're able to work together to find, please let us know, because that's what we're here for. We're all a part of the community, and that's our biggest goal. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You mentioned that some of the residents still like to volunteer.
They do.
How do you let your residents keep up with what's going on in the community in case they'd like to volunteer for something?
That's a great question. So the best way to do that would be getting in touch with Megan Cunningham, who is our Director of Excitement. She'll be the one to, what would be kind of nice is to maybe have like a board meeting or something with the residents, with you guys to keep them updated. So if there is stuff they would like to do, you know, they could actually work with you directly opposed to having to go through the community. Because again, like I said, the first and third floor are all assisted living and they're pretty cognitive with it. So I mean, they're ready to do stuff. We even have residents that are still driving, so they can even drive them.
We might could even have a meeting up there one night and let you listen, let them have a tour.
Of course, I
That
would
might
love
be a
that.
good thing where we could all be together.
I would love that.
Any other questions for you?
Sure.
Insurance.
We don't take Medicaid or Medicare. Medicare is obviously Part A, Part B, and Part D. Part A is actually hospitalizations and also skilled nursing when you get out of the hospital. Part B is given towards the skilled nursing side of things after Part A is finished, and also home health or skilled nursing rehab centers also fall under the Part A platform, and then Part D is actually just pharmacy. So Medicare, unfortunately, doesn't cover anything with assisted living, unless it's that, I guess, acute stay that you're dealing with Medicare. If you, let's say, on a fall and you needed to kind of get yourself back on your feet. And Medicaid is actually government funded. There are specific communities out there that actually provide Medicaid, such as Birmingham Green, and a couple of places have auxiliary grant beds that you can work with as well. We work with Veterans Aid and Attendance, which is the first one. So if someone's a vet of any sort, you could potentially qualify, so that would be something that you would kind of talk with me directly on. The second one is private pay, of course, where it's privately funded from yourself. And the third one is Veterans Aid and Attendance, oh yeah, of course, long-term care insurance. Yeah, so long-term care insurance is something a lot of people have bought into. If you did, it's wonderful. If you haven't done it yet, do it. You'd be surprised how far that goes. It really helps to pay for that. There's a million different plans out there, so it's just about kind of what you're looking for. John Hancock has a really good one, and some people in the government have actually bought into it with their government package, so it's just about what you're looking for.
So the veterans, you do have special plans or
We do.
prices for that?
Actually, let me just talk on cost before I finish as well.
Okay, yeah.
We're all inclusive, so we actually range, and it's only based on the apartment size, so 0 levels of care. It includes everything, and I'll tell you that right before I tell you the price. It includes 24-hour nursing, 7 days a week, housekeeping, laundry services, medication management, the 3 fine dining meals a day, 24-hour snacks as well, and we have an entire snack bar for you as well. So if a resident wants to pop down there and grab a sandwich, or there's a lot of snacks down there. I mean, ranging from pastries to chips to really heart healthy snacks, veggies and some form of a dip, whatever it may be. Also, happy hours are included because we do have a lot of residents that still like to drink. We do have 4 bars in our building. So we're actually in the process right now. We're in the newspaper currently about getting a liquor license. So that is something that you would like. That is something you can do. And once we get that, we'll have to work with an ABC manager to make sure they're on site through the entire time we have a particular happy hour. And that is included in the price as well. We also have, like I said, the medication management. It goes as high as 12 medications. If it's over 12, it's an additional cost. That's only if someone's a diabetic slotting scale, where they have, a shot, insulin, a nebulizer, and of course, over 12 medications, or a colostomy bag, which is where you no longer have, you're no longer to go number 2. It actually goes in the bag, and you have to dispense it yourself. But otherwise, like I said, we're all inclusive. Also, all the socialization and stimulation, all the outings, we actually pay for the transportation. The only thing the resident has to pay for is what they eat, or like whatever they decide to do. So obviously, if they go to Charlestown, we're not going to give them $200 and go have fun, So it just depends on what they like. But otherwise, like I said, it's everything under the sun: cable, Wi-Fi. Even when we pre-leased, we provided our residents with a 40-inch screen smart TV, so they already had that in the room for them. So it's really just all about them. The only thing they really have to pay for is their medications and incontinence supplies. That's it. So everything else is included. We range between $58.95, all inclusive, up to $89.95. Of course, our smallest suite is 332 square feet, like I was saying, and our largest is 721 square feet. If someone is military or their government, we actually have been waiving the reservation fee because the residents we're giving back to them as a thank you. So typically the community fee is $5,000, which is a one-time fee and that's it. But again, if someone's veteran or a government worker, we waive that for them. So
The prices of what, per year or something?
per month, per month. That includes everything though. So if you think about it, you'd be kind of shocked because when a resident actually lives in their home, between wear and tear on their house, electric bills, you know, whether they have gas, you know, of course, cable, electric, you know, new roofs or landscaping or someone to come out and do their lawn, I mean, it really adds up.
And nursing care.
And nursing care. So if someone is in their home and they need additional care to come in, the average price for a home health agency to come in ranges between $25 and $28 an hour. So if you have somebody that needs, you know, 8 hours of care a day, I mean, you're well succeeding $5,895. You're looking at more like 9 or 10. And typically when families come in, I'll actually break it down for them because sometimes maybe they're not spending quite as much and maybe they're able to do it at home. You know, or I'll send them to an elder law attorney and have them work with trusts or have them work with, you know, guardianship cases or helping them to maneuver their assets, you know, partnering with a financial advisor as well. So I'm kind of a huge advocate, which is helping the community as well. So anything that you guys may need.
Excellent. Any more questions?
Do you take couples?
We do take couples. We do take couples. Now it depends on the couple. Of course, if if one of them has a cognitive impairment issue where they're not able to maybe live in assisted living, then both of them can actually live in memory care together. And that way they're able to provide that more hands-on care for the person that needs it. And the person that doesn't have dementia can go do whatever they want in assisted living and kind of enjoy their day. And it kind of alleviates a lot of that stress off that caregiver during that initial time as well. So, okay?
Well, I know where I want to go.
Yeah. But please let me know if you guys want to come take a tour and see it, just even as an organization. That might be something you can do as well.
I think I'll
That's where I'm going to
We
be.
take our future.
Oh, okay, sure.
Oh,